This is our visit to Egypt following our Gate 1 travel tour of Israel and Jordan. Gate 1 was not allowed to provide tours in Egypt, so we decided on our own to do this with local tours in Cairo, since we were in the neighborhood of Israel and Jordan and Egypt. This is a satellite view of the area that we visited. We were able to arrange a 4-night tour with Cleopatra Egypt Tours, with 2 nights in Cairo, a flight to Luxor, 1 night in Luxor, and return for 1 night in Cairo. On this map view, I have located Petra and Wadi Rum that were included in our visit in Jordan. This satellite view shows the location of our hotel, the Pyramid Edge Hotel in Cairo, in relation to the Pyramids of Giza and the Great Sphinx. We could have actually walked to the pyramids from our hotel, but it would not have been recommended. This photo was taken during our taxi ride from the airport into Cairo. It appears to be very much like we experienced in India, where the traffic lanes are just suggestions. I really cannot suggest driving in Egypt. These photos were taken along the freeway going into Cairo. The buildings that we passed by here appear to have been sheared off for construction of this freeway. On the far right, I've circled a portion there where it appears that you can see the remnants of staircases. The upper part of this building is our hotel. At the bottom of the street level, there are doors for various businesses in the bottom part of the building. We found the hotel to be very clean and comfortable, even though the taxi driver said that this was not a good part of the city. This is the street in front of our hotel. It was a very busy street. Here we have the hotel's restaurant on top of the building, and you can see how close we were to the pyramids. A minaret is a type of tower typically built into or adjacent to mosques. Minarets are generally used to project the Muslim call to prayer 5 times each day, but they also served as landmarks and symbols of Islam's presence. We learned that it is generally done by recording with a speaker system. Not knowing what was being said in the call to prayer, it seemed to go on and on. Our tour on the first day was to be a couple of ancient mosques and the bazaar. As you can see from this satellite view, it would be impossible to get a good photo of any of these sites, as the city has been built up so close. One of the mosques dates from the year 970 and is now the second oldest continuously run university in the world. The other mosque was originally built in 1154 and reconstructed in 1874. It is considered to be one of the holiest Islamic sites in Egypt. The young man in this photo was our guide to take us through the bazaar. It was quite a wonderful experience. The bazaar was established as a center of trade between 1382 and 1389. It is now one of Cairo's main attractions for tourists. We walked through the very busy bazaar. Thought this bread looked so good, but we did not get to try it. This young family spotted Carnell and wanted to have a photo taken with her. I guess they came to the bazaar to watch the tourists. I asked the tour guide if a man such as this actually makes a living wage, and the tour guide said no, he's very poor. In this photo you can see the many reasons why I cannot recommend a visit to the Egyptian Museum in Cairo. We were two with one guide. Imagine being with a tour group of 40. It was impossible to appreciate any single display. It was impossible to get good photos and impossible to read or get information on the displays. Wait until the new museum opens. It will be much larger, and even then, I would suggest you find out when the crowds are smaller. This is the Narmer Palette, or the Palette of Narmer. It is a significant Egyptian archaeological find dating from about the 31st century BC. It contains some of the earliest hieroglyphic inscriptions ever found. The tablet is thought by some to depict the unification of the Upper and Lower Egypt under the king Narmer. This is Senib and his family. Senib was an Egyptian with dwarfism who attained a high position in the royal court. He was a priest in the funerary cults of kings Khufu and Djefri of the 4th dynasty. He was also chief of all the palace dwarfs charged with the care of the royal wardrobe. While the couple is portrayed in a realistic way, the two children standing in front of Seneb are depicted as archetypes. They are shown in the typical pose of children in ancient Egypt, naked with the index finger held to their mouth and with the side lock of childhood. This group statue was found inside a small limestone shrine. This is an illustration of the Egyptian process of mummification. In the top row, the brain and organs are removed. The skull is filled with a mixture of tree resin and fragrances. In the bottom row, the body is dehydrated for 35 to 70 days, then washed, oiled, covered with a resin, and then wrapped in linen. Canopic jars are vessels that were used by the ancient Egyptians to house embalmed organs that were removed during the mummification process. During mummification, the lungs, liver, stomach, and intestines were removed from the corpse to prevent putrefaction of the body. Each organ was salted and placed into one of the 4 jars. Because the ancient Egyptians believed it to be the seat of the soul, The heart was notably not removed in the process of mummification, and no jars were made for it. The tomb of Yuya and Thuya, a private-style tomb, was found in the Valley of the Kings in 1905. They were not royals, but their daughter was the chief wife of Pharaoh Amenhotep III. Until the discovery of Tutankhamun's tomb in 1922, this was the richest and best preserved tomb found in the valley, and the first to be found with major items preserved, although there was evidence that the tomb had been robbed several times. The well-preserved mummified bodies of Yuya and Thuya were found in their coffins, although both had been disturbed and partially unwrapped by robbers. Their ages at death have been estimated as between 50 and 60 years. Yuya stood about 5 feet 5 inches, and Thuya about 4 feet 11 inches. They were active in the kingdom from about 1390 to 1352 BC. When we planned this trip, we thought that we were going to be able to see the new Grand Egyptian Museum. Unfortunately, it went through many delays until finally opening November of 2025, over 2 years after we were there. If going to Egyptian today, I'm sure that it would be a must-see. Said to be the largest museum in the world, and you can imagine that because of the many treasures that have been found in Egypt. And in the evening, we had a wonderful view of the pyramids, looking out over the city. And on the right, the area is not the best of Cairo, but you can see how close we were to the pyramids. The pyramids, of course, are a must-see. I have thought of the pyramids like the Grand Canyon. You just stand in awe of what you are seeing, but cannot touch. Actually, you can touch the pyramids, as you will see in one photo where Carnell was up on one of the pyramids. This is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The Great Pyramid of Giza is the largest and is the tomb of Pharaoh Khufu. It was built in the early 26th century BC. The top is at 454 feet. What is seen today is the underlying core structure. Most of the smooth white limestone casing was removed over time. There are 3 known chambers inside. The lowest was cut into the bedrock upon which the pyramid was built, but remained unfinished. The Queen and King chambers are above ground level within the pyramid structure. On the right and in the upper left, you see the original entrance into the pyramid. Also on the left, you can see the Robber's Tunnel down on the right side of that photo. Visitors are allowed to climb onto this pyramid. Carnell went up to look around and see the Robber's Tunnel entrance. The Great Sphinx of Giza is a limestone statue of a reclining sphinx, a mythical creature with the head of a human and the body of a lion. The face appears to represent the pharaoh Khafre. The original shape of the Sphinx was cut from the bedrock. and has since been restored with layers of limestone blocks. It is 240 feet from paw to tail and 66 feet high, 62 feet wide. The Sphinx is the oldest known monumental sculpture in Egypt. The archaeological evidence suggests that it was created by ancient Egyptians during the reign of Khafre about 2558 BC. The Pyramid of Khafre and the Great Sphinx of Giza. In the pyramid, you can see above what remains of the limestone casing. And in the Sphinx, you can tell in this photo that the body of the Sphinx was carved below surface in the bedrock. The Pyramid of Khafre is the middle of the three pyramids of Giza, the second tallest and the second largest of the group. It rises to 448 feet. Khafre's pyramid sits on bedrock 33 feet higher than Khufu's pyramid, which makes it appear to be taller. The bottom course of casing stones was made of pink granite, but the remainder of the pyramid was cased in Tura limestone. Imagine how it looked with the sun gleaming off this white pyramid. The pyramid was likely opened and robbed during the 19th dynasty, when the overseer of the temple construction took casing stones to build a temple in Heliopolis on Ramesses II's orders. It is not known when the rest of the casing stones were robbed. They were presumably still in place by 1646, when a professor at University of Oxford wrote that while its stones were not as large or as regularly laid as in Khufu's, the surface was smooth and even free of breaches or inequalities, except on the south. The Pyramid of Menkaure is the smallest of the three main pyramids. It now stands at 200 feet. It was constructed of limestone and Aswan granite. The upper portion was cased in Tura limestone. The date of construction is unknown, but was probably completed in the 26th century BC. The bottom courses of the pyramid are from granite and above with limestone. Archaeologists explain that some of the granite stones are unfinished. Near the Pyramid of Menkaure are three smaller pyramids. These are speculated to be the queens of Menkaure and may have also been his half-sisters. In AD 1196, the Sultan of Egypt attempted to demolish the pyramids, starting with that of Menkaure. Workmen recruited to demolish the pyramid stayed at their job for 8 months, but found it almost as expensive to destroy as to build. They could only remove 1 or 2 stones each day. Some used wedges and levers to move the stones, while others used ropes to pull them down. When a stone fell, it would bury itself in the sand, requiring extraordinary efforts to free it. Wedges were used to split the stones into several pieces, and a cart was used to carry it to where it was left. Despite their efforts, workmen were only able to damage the pyramid to the extent of leaving a large vertical gash at its northern face. And of course, a photo shoot. It was a wonderful day in Egypt. Next day we were off off on a flight to Luxor, anticipating visiting the Valley of the Kings.